There was a lot of self-doubt in my abilities. And especially at that point, I'd still been at the company 10 plus years, right? And I was still having self-doubt in what my skill set was. I was overthinking just about everything I was doing, double guessing things, comparing myself to others constantly. I think about the different emotions, and it sounds very dramatic, when you list them all out, but I felt discouraged and no self-confidence. Anytime I would get feedback, it was the end of the world, right? I'm so horrible. I can't believe I still have a job here, and really just in a really down place. So when your emails, I think I found you on Facebook, and I just started getting emails, and every email that came through, I read, which is rare. Normally it's okay, that looks nice, and you delete it and move on. But every email felt as if you knew me, and you were talking to me like, hey, Bonney, here's this thing. I'm like, yes, that's exactly how I'm feeling. How does she know this? Who is this woman? Yeah, I would say for the internal change is just learning to pause and take a moment and get rid of that imposter syndrome. That was a big one for me, and to just be aware of the moment that I'm in and say, okay, Bonney, you really need to pause for a moment, step outside of yourself and look at these tools that you have. Which tool in your tool set do you want to pull out to help you get through this situation? And, talk yourself off of the cliff of, you can do this, and you have done it. And you've been doing it successfully for all of these years. So getting rid of that negative self-talk and just kind of shushing that piece of it. That for me has been the best internal piece of it. Externally, like you mentioned, I did get a promotion, which was really exciting. And, it was one of those things we had talked about. Is I got some pretty vague feedback. What do I do with this? And how do I don't understand it. And old Bonney would have said, okay, thank you. And been frustrated and sat on it for days, months, years. But instead I challenged it and said, hey, I want to know more. I want to get better. Let me dig in. Let me ask more questions. And I got clarity on it. I said, got it. I'm going to do 1, 2, and 3. And I did. And it paid off. So I would say, just do it, right? You're not broken. Anything can be fixed. It was such a great program. I recommended it to another colleague of mine who took it and loved it. I think if someone hears about the course, they read some material on it, if it made them pause for just half a second, I call it that gut thing. If something in you went, sounds interesting, that means you need to do something, right? That's your superpower that's kicked in. That's a superpower we have that's kicked in that said, I feel like I might need to dig more here. So I would just say, listen to it. It's well worth it. Like I said earlier, if you find one thing, one takeaway from it, you have one more thing in your toolkit that you didn't have prior to it. I would just say your future self will 100% thank current self for doing this.